Welcome to the Crown of Yamhill County. This is the first event, and we have a wonderful program prepared for you this evening. Thanks for coming out on this Friday night to support domestic violence survivors and raise support for Henderson House. I'll introduce myself first. My name is Larry Miller. I'm a resident of McMinnville. I'm part of the Henderson House board. Tonight is Roland.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. My name is Roland Dice. I am a drag king from up in Portland.
We're going to make sure you all have a good time tonight, but first we want to make sure we all understand what brings us together tonight, to share a brief story, if you will, of domestic violence. Now, people of all genders, sexual orientations, and gender identities may experience domestic violence. Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior used by an individual to establish and maintain power and control of their intimate partner. The behavior includes abusive tactics, threats, actions that may or may not rise to the level of criminal behavior. The tactics may also include physical, emotional, financial, and sexual abuse.
We understand this may be some heavy topics for some people, but it is very important to understand why we are all here today. In the 1500s, English common laws explicitly allowed wife beating for correctional purposes. To limit such behavior, U.S. state passed rule of thumb laws limiting what could be used for wife beating to a whip no bigger than the size of a thumb.
In 1871, Alabama was the first state to rescind the legal right of men to beat wives.
In 1966, beating as cruel and inhumane treatment becomes grounds for divorce in New York. But the plaintiff must establish that a sufficient number of beatings had taken place.
In 1972, the Asian Law Caucus was founded to promote, advance, and represent the legal and civil rights of the Asian Pacific communities. Their work included legal representation of battered immigrant women.
In 1974, out of recognition of the lack of services for Latina women and the absence of Latina-controlled organizations, a multiracial group of women in Boston's South End funded the Casa Marina Vasquez, I had to make sure I was saying that right, shelter for survivors of domestic and dating violence.
Henderson House in McMinnville opened its doors to serve domestic violence and sexual assault survivors in 1980.
In 1994, the U.S. Congress passed the first Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, dedicating resources to ending domestic violence, sexual assault, dating violence, and stalking. VAWA was last renewed by Congress in 2022.
In 2023, the Navajo Nation Victims' Rights Act law was established to provide victims of sexual assault and rape, domestic violence, and other violent assaults with the protection and the support they need as they wait for justice. In 2024, according to the National Network to End Violence, 45.1% of Black women have experienced domestic violence. Even more astounding is that an estimated 51.3% of Black female homicides are related to intimate partner violence.
A myth of domestic violence is that it's always perpetrated by a man in a male-female heterosexual relationship. For LGBTQIA+ community members, domestic violence is an unfortunately common experience. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 43.8% of lesbian women and 61.1% of bisexual women have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner as compared to 35% of heterosexual women. 26% of gay men and 37.3% of bisexual men have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner, compared to the 29% of heterosexual men.
The mission of Henderson House is to provide cultural aware outreach, education, and services for survivors of domestic and sexual violence through leadership, hope, and respect for thriving families. By all the folks in this great audience tonight, Henderson House will consider you an ally for survivors of domestic violence. Okay, I would like to introduce, first I want to introduce the band, Sal and the Salamanders. Sal's band was formed in 2010. They do a wide variety of music, everything from classical, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, country, funk, groove. And this was what Sal sent me, which I thought was fairly good. Infectious groove.
I would definitely call it an infectious groove, for sure, for sure. Leading said infectious groove, you got Sal Solano, who will be on drums and vocals. Jesse Solano plays the guitar and vocal, Sal's brother. Completing the trio is Karen Perdome, playing the bass and vocals. And you might even see Martin Solano singing a special little song during intermission with his dad. Maybe.
And we also would like to thank the people who provided the food for tonight. Biscuits and Pickles, Harvest Fresh, and Burley. We want to thank all of them for providing the food for the guests and the folks backstage. Yep. And all these folks are from locally here in McMinnville.
We also have some donations by Heather. That's supposed to be Heather? Heather Allen, Grayson Vine, Yamhill Valley Vineyards, and Patricia Green Sellers. I know some of you are enjoying that.
And I want everyone to give a big round of applause to Gallery Theater. And this was a huge undertaking. This was the first event, and Gallery Theater has just been great. And Jared has done an outstanding job with helping us to make this night. So I want to really make sure we thank Jared for his help.
Yeah, Jared!
Thank you, Jared! We have not been making this easy on him.
Good.
Who said that? Who?
This guy right here.
Okay, so this is the first Crown of Yamhill County event. It's a talent show. It's a fundraiser for Henderson House. But this is a competition. So in every competition, there's one winner. I had a coach one time tell me there's one winner and then there's everyone else, but we don't want to do that. So I want everybody to make sure that they are cheering on these contestants, because it takes a lot of effort to come up here and perform.
A lot of effort, a lot of guts, a lot of preparation.
Exactly. And so I want everyone to cheer. I know we probably have some Duck fans in the audience, some Beaver fans in the audience.
Not at all a crowd favorite, not at all.
So we can make this like the Civil War, when they play each other once a year, even though that might change now, but yeah.
How about we do a quick sound check? Quick sound check, quick energy check. Because I know that once these people enter the center of the stage, you're going to give them a big round of applause just like this! Now that's A plus applause! Yeah.
Now before we bring them out on the stage, we would like to introduce the 5 judges tonight for the evening.
We have Judge Lucetta Elmer. Serving as the Oregon District 24 representative during the 2024 congressional session. Representative Elmer co-sponsored HB 4146, improving protection order filing processes and expanding privacy protections for sexual assault survivors. Next up, we have Judge David Bubba King. Judge David Bubba King is the president of, I can read, I promise. Chehalem, thank you, and he's kind. Chehalem Valley Chamber of Commerce. Bubba and his wife own the Godspeed Hollow Dairy Farm in Newburgh, and Bubba is currently seeking the office of Yamhill County Commissioner!
Our next judge is Nicholas Kristoff, best known from that was applause. I guess I don't need to read the rest of his bio. Everyone knows who Nicholas Kristoff is. Nicholas Kristoff, best known for his service as a Yamhill Carlton High School student body president. Also went on to receive a few other fames. He won 2 Pulitzer Prizes as a New York Times correspondent, has authored multiple bestsellers, has been a powerful advocate for the most vulnerable people in the community and across the globe. Nicholas continues to contribute op-ed columns to the New York Times, compelling our country and our leaders to live up to their values.
Next up is Judge Heather Richards. Heather Richards is the City of McMinnville's Community Development Director, overseeing planning, building, code compliance, and community relations. Why am I talking like this is a WWE fight? Heather is also on the Urban Renewal Board of Directors of the McMinnville Economic Development Partnership, the McMinnville Downtown Association, the Yamhill County Transit Authority, and the Housing Corporation, I can talk, I swear, of the Yamhill County Housing Authority for the City of McMinnville.
And our final judge is Jade Wong-Hines. Jade is the president of the Asian Heritage Association in Yamhill County. Jade helped start the Lunar New Year celebration in McMinnville and formerly served as the first vice chair on the City of McMinnville's Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Advisory Committee. And I would like to have everyone give all the judges a big round of applause. Now, in all competition, the judges are going to be the ones who make the final choice of the winner tonight. But the crowd needs to be involved.
Who's booing booing our beautiful
Help
judges.
us out. Let's go.
Hey, crowd!
You guys get to influence the competition as well. Don't worry, you'll absolutely get your say.
So I believe the audience has the ability to vote using a QR code on the last page of your program. The judges will confer and will see what the audience is voting as a result, but the judges will still decide the winner, the first runner-up, and the second runner-up for tonight. So let's
applaud yourselves for making the decision as well.
So let's get this started.
Yes! I know you all want to see our amazing, beautiful contestants, especially because they are even more beautiful because they've dressed up especially for you all. You all want to see that, right? No pressure, guys.
All right, here we go. Our first contestant of the evening is John Olson. Of the McMinnville Area Chamber of Commerce and is deeply involved in his community. He serves on the leadership team of McMinnville Youth Collective, is a member of the Innovation Campus Project Advisory Committee, and acts as an advisor to the McMinnville Economic Vitality Council. In addition, John is an active volunteer and performer at Gallery Theater. Took on the roles of Teen Angel and Vince Fontaine in their record-breaking production of Grease the Musical.
Yes!
Our second contestant for the night is Tim Love. Tim was born in Southern Oregon and was raised in poverty, spending his childhood with his 5 siblings and without any electricity or plumbing. After graduating at the top of his class in high school, he received a full ride at Yamhill County, where he did track along with majoring in education and English. Tim was a Linfield mascot and went on to be a mascot for the Beavers for 3 years. Over a decade, he has taught social studies at Dunaway Middle School here in McMinnville, shaping students' worldviews and finding ways to make dodgeball part of his curriculum.
I'm excited about what this talent is. Mascot on your dodgeball. A little bit of both.
Our next contestant is Caitlin Nemeth. Chesapeake, Virginia, moved to McMinnville a few years ago. They work for the Yamhill County Public Health and is also the co-chair for the City of McMinnville's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Council. When not dedicating their time to service of the community, they love to explore Oregon, play Dungeons and Dragons with friends, and spend time with the cat named McNugget.
My name is Roland Dice, and I just found out you play D&D. We need to talk. We'll talk.
Our next contestant is Beto Reyes. but I was influenced by what was written. Beto Reyes as described by his 8-year-old daughter.
Oh, I'm so excited!
This is Beto Reyes. He is kind and helpful. He has glasses. He works at Yamhill County, Yamhill Community Care. He just got out of school. He has a loving heart for others. He likes to play games. He always helps out at Praise Church. He has a wife and 4 kids. He loves God and serves Him with all of his heart.
Right on!
Beto is an associate pastor at McMinnville Praise Church, an ambassador for the McMinnville Area Chamber of Commerce, an advisory committee member for a leadership map, a club advisor for Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Linfield University, and a community engagement specialist for Yamhill Community Care.
I thought my suit was good. I got upstaged. I got upstaged by a student? Oh, sorry.
Our next contestant is Dana Libanate.
I think you can talk while he's making the rounds.
Dana is a composer, pianist, and music teacher. He retired from McMinnville High School after 27 years, retired from Linfield University after 30 years, and is currently teaching at the Delphine School. He is a published composer and arranger whose music has been performed all over the world. In his free time, he plays ice hockey and volunteers with the Lions Club and the YCAP Tuesday. He is married to his wife, Kim, has 2 children and 4 grandchildren.
Really going for that audience vote, huh?
Our next contestant is Elise Yarnell Hallman. Elise knows the importance of resources for survivors. Elise was born in Oregon, left to study and play volleyball at Eastern University in Pennsylvania, then returned to Oregon to work in healthcare administration. Elise lives with her husband and 3 kids in Newburgh, where she serves as a city councilor, and also is a small business owner. After a string of youth deaths by suicide in Newburgh in 2018, Elise, along with Kristen Stoller and other community members, founded the Community Wellness Collective to decrease the stigma around accessing mental health and addiction services. The CWC operated the Newburgh Emergency Shelter from 2021 to 2024, where they cared for an average of 25 Newburgh residents per night. Today, the CWC operates Community Drop-In Center in downtown Newburgh, providing essential social services to houseless and at-risk individuals.
I have nothing to say, but that is incredible. That is really amazing.
Thank you.
Our next contestant is Mauricio Soto. Originally is from Colombia, proud to have immigrated to the U.S. in 2010, is a community development specialist in Humboldt Credit Union. Mauricio brings over 23 years of experience in financial services, including 8 years as a mortgage loan officer. His passion lies in serving and empowering our Latinx community through financial literacy, inclusive practices. He is also a dedicated member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advocate and Financial Education Champion, committing to creating opportunities and fostering growth for diverse communities. The next contestant is Angie LaPointe. University, where she threw javelin and graduated with a BS in health promotion. She is a local real estate broker at Berkshire Hathaway and is an honor to serve first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. Angie has volunteered as a youth soccer coach for 10 years and loves helping children build their self-confidence through athletics and giving back to the community. She is very involved with the Newburgh Chamber of Commerce as an ambassador and volunteers at local events and supports local businesses, new and old, cheering them all on to success. Angie is married to her husband Justin of 29 years, with whom they have both raised 3 sons.
Soccer kids, not one of yours specifically, but in general, thank you for your service, and we're sorry. And to Mauricio, as a fellow Latina community member, thank you for representing. I'm excited to see what you have to offer.
Our next contestant is Jack Maxwell III. Yamhill County. He grew up in extreme poverty and is a child survivor of domestic violence. Today, Jack has over a decade of sobriety, is happily married. He is happily married to the woman of his dreams and has 5 wonderful children.
Accomplishments that I have to give props to. One of those including the cleanest white shoes I've ever seen.
Jack owns the Jack Maxwell American Family Insurance Agency and is an addiction recovery life coach, passionate about sparking hope in those around him, and actively serves on many nonprofit boards. And our last contestant for the evening is Katie Bora. Kate is a lifelong resident of Newburgh, where she owns and operates Kate's Kitchen. A dedicated community member, Kate works as a recess attendant at her former elementary school and donates her time and pastries to the school and local programs, including the Chehalem Valley Dance Academy annual Nutcracker fundraiser. As Secretary of Newburgh Downtown Coalition, she actively supports community initiatives. Her volunteer work extends to local Rotary clubs, the Newburgh School District, Yamhill County Action Partnership, and a family place, Newburgh. Kate is passionate about community building and making a positive impact on her hometown. another round of applause to these contestants because we're going to start.
Hey Larry,
Yes.
you want to know something really cool?
Tell me something really cool.
I'm missing a page.
You're missing a page.
So you gotta, whatever's next, you gotta do it.
All right. Okay, well, what's next is we're going to start off with John Olson. And he is going to be singing an Elvis Presley song recorded for the film Blue Hawaii in 1961 called Can't Help Falling in Love.
Get down there with them. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you.
That was beautiful, that was fantastic.
Lucky Karen.
Yeah, seriously. Get serenaded like that every night. Next up is Tim Love. Tim will be performing a art originated in New York City during the late 1960s and early 70s, fashioned and popularized by African Americans and Latinos, that include forms of great athletic footwork, back and headspins, martial arts and gymnastics, in quotation marks, Back with another one of those rockin' beats by the Chemical Brothers. Tim will be breakdancing.
Anything better than what they had in the Olympics from the person in Australia. And that was way better.
You don't know? Rachel didn't tell you? We have our special guest ray gun? I'm kidding. Or am I? You know, Larry, I'm getting kind of bummed out.
Are you?
I am.
Well, what would you like to do?
Well, like I said, I'm a drag king by trade, and I'm watching all these awesome performances, and I don't know, I'm feeling left out of the talent portion, man.
Don't ever feel left out. This is a McMinnville. We welcome everyone.
If I just hop in for like 1 second?
Absolutely. Please do.
Like 1 second. You ready, Jared?
Rolling dice, people. Our next performer will be Caitlin Nemeth. Caitlin will be lip-syncing to the song We Don't Talk About Bruno, which was written by American actor, playwright, and musician Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Maybe that's why I was feeling kind of itchy, because I knew something was coming, some lip syncing competition.
Yes.
Caitlin did amazing though. Next up is Beto Rice. What is this? I'm just gonna read it. Augusta.
Hey guys. All right, so let's get this started. By show of hands, not that I can see you because I didn't know I was going to attend tonight, but just pretend I can see you. How many of you are drag racing fans? Do we have any drag racing fans in the house? Isn't it amazing how fast those guys can run in heels? I mean, it's pretty impressive. I don't think I could do it. It takes a lot of practice, but it's pretty incredible, I think. Something I'd like for you to know about me tonight is that I'm not a big fan of double standards. And I'll give you an example. There's people that can brag about how they're saving the planet by going paperless. Yay, the trees, yay! As an immigrant, I don't have that privilege. Everyone wants to see my papers. I can't just be like, I'm going paperless. No, has the opposite effect. There's times that I can't tell if my wife is describing me or our dog. Don't laugh yet, that's just a setup. But it's because of what she says. She'll say things like, you know, he's great with the kids, he's always full of energy, he's glad to see me every time, he thrives on positive reinforcement, who's a good boy? I am a good boy. For the dog, it's for dropping a ball. For me, it's for dropping an argument. Well, it's true. But thank you so much. That's very necessary. But we do have a drum stage on it. Anyway, it's not just positive things that we have in common. We also have some negative things. You know, my wife could go without the snoring, the farting, the chewing on the shoes. I'm just kidding. The dog's never chewed on her shoes. I don't have a lot of time to explain, but she got, you know, golden slippers, and I wanted to see if they were real gold. Never mind. I love my wife. She's awesome. She's here tonight. Thank you, babe, for coming out. Yeah, you hung out with me. She deserves a round of applause. But I love her, and I love lifting her up. And that's why when we go camping, we sleep on an air mattress. It's because I'm heavier than her, so... And never mind. Somebody explain it. If you got it, just explain it to the person next to you. But we have 4 awesome kids, and we're here tonight as well. And they're 14, 12, 12, and just turned 9 just a few days ago. Yeah, and they're getting so big, you guys, it's making co-sleeping a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. Maybe we should have stopped sooner, but I feel like by this point we're committed. So, I mean, it's going to start getting awkward whilst they're not having kids, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But every night, it does remind me, we resemble, how do I put this delicately, a pack of sea lions fighting over a rock. It's like, don't touch me, I need more space. That's my time, you guys have a great night.
Our next performer will be Dana Lebanate. Dana will be playing an original composition called Legacy.
Yeah, Dana.
That's really funny. To preface this, I volunteer with my friend Emily at the food bank every Friday morning, and today she said, "Do you guys need that?"
Yeah.
Okay, so I volunteer at the food bank every Friday morning with my friend Emily, so this morning we were there, and she goes, "I hope you know that my husband and I are giving up the Oregon game to come and watch you tonight, so don't suck." So, I just want you to know that I make no promises about that. And thank you, Emily, and everybody for coming and supporting. And this is a composition I wrote for my father's celebration of life. Thank you.
next contestant will be Elise Yarnell Hallman. Elise will be singing the song The Little Mermaid.
I love McMinnville.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures unfold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? I've got gadgets and heroes aplenty. I've got who's it's and what's it's galore. Woo! You want to think of a box? I got plenty.
event, and I'm not going to beat that. So as I said at the beginning, you only have one winner and everyone else. And I'm now the everyone else, but rolling dice is the winner for that. Give Roland another round of applause.
Judges, please don't include my attempt in his score. I did what I could. Oh man, that gave me a workout. Whew. Next up is Angie LaPointe. Angie will be performing Fitness by Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Angie's motto is, if you believe it, you can achieve it. So let's give it up for Angie.
Why fitness is so important to me and has always been. This x-ray, I don't know if you guys can see it very well.
Put it on the blue background.
What do we want?
Yeah, there you go.
No spotlight.
No spotlight. What's that? No spotlight. Okay, now you can see it. Okay, so this is my spine at 17 years old. So at 12 I was diagnosed with scoliosis. In PE, you know, when they made you bend over, I was that kid that got sent to the office. At 12 years old, they wanted to put metal rods in my spine, and I asked two questions. Could I play sports, and could I have children? And the surgeons in 1981, or whatever year that was, said, not very well. And I looked at my mom, and I said, then I don't want it. And so my strength then has stayed with me mentally and physically, and has helped me in some huge challenges. And with the topic here tonight, and why we are all here, I believe that fitness can help anybody through any difficult situation. So at 53 years old, I'm going to show you some things I do on a weekly basis at the gym in town, Excel Fitness. Got a plug it. Okay. Music.
Our next performer will be Jack Maxwell. Poetry is the art of creating beautiful and powerful pieces of writing. Jack will be reading an original poem to music from a true story. Let's everyone give a welcome hands to Jack.
In the beginning, you promised me a love story. You were my hero long before we ever met for real. I craved your love, and nothing could take that away. I believed in you, but years faded away. Years! I waited at the window and you never came. Just like that, 8 years old, and all of a sudden you want to be a dad. But I was okay with that. To me, you were Superman. Regardless of all the horrible things people said. A dream come true turned quickly into a nightmare. Love was absent. I saw you wear a mask to keep your dark side hidden. You demanded fear, never asked. Your love was sharp, cutting through my dreams. Bruises hidden under long sleeves and silent screams. You took my heart, squeezed, so heartbreakingly tight. You stole my self-worth and shrouded my heart with darkness as you stole every ounce of it. Night blurred into days and days into nights. I lost myself in the shadows of our one-sided fights. Each tear I shed made you more angry. I'm so weak now. Each scar a story of the pain you rained down. I was a prisoner in a locked cage, and you blamed me as you turned the key with rage. But deep inside, a spark of light, a whisper of hope, a silent cry, a lost boy that refused to die. One day, courage found me wrapped in resolve. I packed my fears and let the chains dissolve. Freedom was bittersweet, another reminder of another person who wouldn't, who couldn't love me. Years passed, I learned to breathe, to find myself again, to finally believe. I stepped into the light and away from grief, your grip no longer squeezing the life out of me. Then came the news, one last thing to grasp. You were fading away, your time running fast. I sat at your bedside, memories flooding back, pain beyond the comfort of death's sight. You were taking with me, away from me, the only chance to ever have a dad. In that moment I found true strength and resilience, not in revenge, but in forgiveness. I let go of the anger, I cut the hurt with the knife, and whispered goodbye as you left this life. Your love was never kind, it cut and it bruised, but forgiveness is a gift, the path I choose. I walked away lighter, my heart finally free. A survivor, a warrior, me embracing me.
Next up, we have Kate Ibora. Woo! She's singing the song Rainbow, written by country music singer-songwriter Casey Musgraves.
Hi, everybody. This is a song that has been sung to me. It's a song that I've sung to many of my friends, and I would like to sing it to you all tonight and to anybody else who might need the reminder. When it rains, it pours, but you didn't even notice. It ain't raining anymore. It's hard to breathe when all you know is the struggle of staying
Okay, so we're going to have an intermission now. It's going to be a quick intermission, about 15 minutes.
Providing us with all the jams tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the second part of our program tonight, where the judges will have the opportunity to ask the contestant a couple of questions. The judges should already have the questions available to them, and each contestant will receive 2 questions. We're going to go in the same order as the performance tonight. So our first person to come out will be John Olson.
Oh, extra! I love extra credit. I love extra credit.
Gold star.
You're in charge. This is your show.
I have a question. Who cut your hair?
My wife. Thank you. Does that count as one?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for setting.
John, you're
Thanks.
doing such an awesome job.
Thank you.
Thanks for participating in. Your question is, what resources do you believe are necessary for a community to offer to ensure cycles of abuse are broken?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I think that is a critically important question for us as a community to consider. So for us to break the cycle of abuse, I believe takes a multi-layered approach. So we need resources like safe shelters. We need to have financial and legal advocacy and counseling, and we need educational programming in our community. And so that's one of the reasons why an organization like Henderson House is so incredible to have in our community, because they are there with emergency sheltering. They are there with supportive services. But that's not enough. The work of breaking the cycle of abuse cannot be the sole responsibility of Henderson House. Anyone agree with that? So we as a community need to do more. We as a community need to make sure that there is long-term resources to help break this cycle. We need to make sure that there is employment training. We need to make sure that there is affordable housing. And we need to make sure that there's childcare options in our community. Because those are the tools, those are the resources that help people rebuild their lives, right? And so we need to do that as a community, but that's not enough either. We need to do a better job of prevention education. We have to do a better job in our schools. We have to do a better job in our community center in teaching prevention. What does that look like? What are healthy relationship dynamics? I've been married for almost 20 years. Guess how many times I've heard about healthy relationship dynamics? I mean, I hear it for 20 years from my wife. But no one has ever taught me what it really looks like. And so I had to figure it out on my own of what it means to be a good partner. We need to be teaching that. We need to teach conflict resolution skills. I've got 4 kids. Let me tell you, we need to be teaching them conflict resolution skills. And so we need to be doing that for not only our kids, but all the way to our adults. And so I feel like a comprehensive and multi-layered approach is how we are going to stop this cycle of abuse. So tonight you're wondering maybe, John, you lost the tails, right? And I did that for a reason. Because I think sometimes we think that ending this cycle takes special people. We think it takes people who are in fancy clothes or they have special talents. That's the opposite, actually. We just need you to be you. We need you to be kind. We need you to be supportive. And we need you to listen and believe people when they say that they're in one of these situations. And then finally, know where to get resources and help. Do you know who to call? Henderson House. But do you know what the services are? So all of us, in every sphere that we inhabit now, just as ourselves, can break the cycle of abuse.
Thoughtful answer. That was, and it's true. I think adults tend to think just because we've been here for a while, we know what's what, but it's true. Reminders are helpful, and reminders are what will help us continue to push forward and learn and grow and break these cycles. I think that was an incredibly thoughtful answer.
Yes, it was.
Are you ready for the next one?
Next contestant is Tim Love.
What's up, Tim?
Hey, how's it going?
Was that his question?
I don't think I know you.
My name's Bubba.
Oh, I've seen your signs on the road. Hi.
Sorry.
Also,
How do you promote community connectedness in your personal and professional life? And how does that create a safer community?
great question. So, you see, Bubba, if you're a hammer, you seem to see all your problems as nails. And I'm a middle school teacher, a public middle school teacher, and so when I think of the community that I'm a part of, it is essential for the operation of a middle school that everybody understands the differences that everybody brings to the table and the harmony that we're trying to achieve. Harmony, not just this monotonous, monotone, everybody singing the same note, but everybody bringing whatever skill sets they have to the equation and us pointing in the right direction. As Plato says, harmony is the ultimate goal of a civilization, of a society. Like, we are trying to align everybody together towards one common goal. In this case, trying to, speaking of ways to unite people and avoid things like discrimination or domestic violence. I think that raising awareness of problems, so like in my little environment, it would be things that we'd like not to acknowledge that happen in middle school, like vaping or sexting or bullying. And so raising awareness that these things do happen, I imagine in the larger community of McMinnville, it'd be something along the lines of poverty, homelessness is probably not something we hide very well, or the domestic abuse. Raising awareness of issues, I would say, is probably first and foremost. After that, I think that it would be important to raise, allow people to see, like, here are possible avenues, here are advocating for those people, advocacy organizations that are out there in order to help meet those issues that we have in the community, making those people more aware of what is out there, like how they can help to put an end to those. So in the middle school environment, for instance, I'm well aware of like the resources we have, but in the community here, that would be faith-based organizations, that would be things like the Henderson House. So awareness, accountability is important also. So whether, again, if that's some sort of team or club or faith-based organization, if there's accountability and people know that what they do matters and that they're a member of a society, they're a member of a team, they're a member of, like at Dunaway, we don't act this way. At Dunaway, we don't talk that way. In McMinnville, we don't act this way. In our community, on our team, in my small group, like, if you don't have that accountability, then there's no real teeth behind your actions. So I think that you need awareness, you need accountability, and then ultimately there needs to be a paradigm shift. And that can only happen on the deepest intrinsic level. And that occurs, of course, by breaking the cycle, as John was just talking about. Faith-based organizations, fantastic at that. As a social studies teacher, I'll tell you that what people believe in, that's what they do, and that hurt people. And so getting to the root of those causes of why people are acting the way that they are, like what's the root cause, which requires a lot of intensive work or therapy. Thanks to neuroplasticity, we know in the last 10 years that it's possible to make amends for the damage that has been done. So it's not like anybody's ever a lost cause. So I think my time's probably about up, sorry. But anyway, I would say that the way that I do it at Dunaway Middle School and the way in a community we can do it is essentially the same, which is raising awareness, having a paradigm shift, and advocacy, allowing people to know who's out there to help them out.
I love that definition of harmony and the we don't talk about Bruno.
up is Caitlin.
Caitlin, first of all, congratulations to you and your other participants. On this side of the judges' table, we were just awed by everything you were doing on that side. We're just glad we don't have to participate. All the talent is on your side. So my question is that all the time we encounter situations where we know that we have some obligation to speak up about abuse, but it feels to us more complicated, that we're not really sure exactly what the person said. We see some sign that may be ambiguous, is that what caused that bruise? And so in that context of ambiguity in real life, how should you or how should all of us speak up? To what extent do, especially if somebody doesn't want us to raise it, how do we tackle this kind of ambiguity about something so important in life all around us?
Excellent question. So I think the first thing is just to drop what you're doing and act immediately. And it's really scary, but most importantly is doing something. You're not going to get it right. Accept that what you're going to do is not perfect. But you have to start somewhere. And by starting somewhere, then you can build a relationship with a person, with the community. You can figure out ways to intervene. You can contact local resources. There's a lot of ways that you have to start by acting. If you think about it, you'll think yourself into a spiral. As someone who's done that before, it's a hard thing to do, and it can be very nuanced, but I think I really try and ask good questions and then listen to them. If you're not listening to understand and you're listening to respond, then you're not going to be able to understand what the person is going through and what they need from you. And you're going to need to figure out local resources to contact, make sure that you're going to be supporting that person and checking in with them however they need you to, and the larger group depending on what's going on. So that's just a couple things that come to my mind.
That answer was listening to understand, not listening to respond. That is incredible.
Our next contestant is Beto Reyes.
I can see you now.
Hi, Beto.
Hi.
First of all, thank you. You've been such a personality and shining star tonight. I enjoyed that. And also, I'm so humbled by all the contestants with your bios and the service that you bring for our communities. Thank you so much. Thank you for volunteering tonight. Very important. What are ways that friends, family, and colleagues can be held accountable to each other when we fail to show respect and inclusion to others?
Let me just take a moment to let that sink in. You know this about me, I can start talking and then I can't unsay what I already said, so just give me a few seconds. This is a hard topic, and I brought the funny, so I'm switching gears. But before I answer the question, I do want to say that I thank you all for laughing, because when we stop laughing and we let violence take us over, then the violence wins. So don't stop laughing. As far as your question, and again, thank you for being here. I'm going to skip over the formalities and jump right into the answer. But it really starts in the home. I have not experienced that in my own life directly. I have experienced it indirectly. And it's sad to say that I've been on the other side of abuse. And what I mean by that is that there was a time when I was into, let's just call it material, that promoted abuse. And so when I say that it starts in the home, it's, if I want to make a change out there, I have to start making a change in me. I have to start thinking about how I want my kids to be raised, how they should grow up, instead of telling them what to do and then doing something different. We have to fight hypocrisy. And to answer it simply, if we see something, we have to say something. But I do caution us, because sometimes we have to ask questions before we step in, because, I mean, it happens to me parenting all the time. I'll walk into an argument and I just automatically jump in and start arbitrating the argument. And they're like, Dad, this is the situation. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I was way off. So if we're jumping in at every situation that we think is going a certain direction, I think we could cause more damage. But if we, and I'm not saying that we are to investigate every case, it's really hard to pinpoint an answer without knowing the specific scenario, because there's so many different scenarios. But before I get off stage, if you've been a victim of abuse, I just want to remind you that that doesn't define who you are. It's a part of your story, but what it's done, it's created a stage for you to help others. Take your time healing. This is not a quick process, but you have been given a stage where I cannot speak from, but you can. And you can bring others along. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Two things in that answer that really stuck out to me. One, hypocrisy is, it takes a lot to, well, first of all, thank you for being incredibly vulnerable, and it takes a lot to look internally to be able to reflect and grow and change. And the second thing that stuck out was taking your time to listen and to absorb it and then to respond. That is how we should approach everything. We should take our time to listen and think it through and then react.
He's the best.
Okay, our next contestant is Dana Rabanaki.
Dana, hi. I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay.
I will answer.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. So, the question is, do community leaders have a special responsibility to demonstrate kindness, inclusion, and accountability to the community? I'm going to answer for you and say yes.
Well,
so what I would like you to answer is why? Why do community leaders have a special responsibility, and what does that look like in practice?
Yes. The answer obviously is yes. And community leaders could be politicians, they can be business leaders, they can be teachers, they can be a housewife. It doesn't matter. If you're involved in the community, you have a social responsibility to understand the concepts of kindness and compassion. And I think we lose track of that because we all get so busy in our own lives. But it's essential. You know, you think about every day. I mean, I was telling this story to some of my former students during the break. But I was walking out of Walmart a couple days ago, and there was an older gentleman there, and he's trying to get people's attention, and nobody would look at him. And he said, I need a ride to Yamhill. I'll pay you $20. I said, well, what's your story? And he said, I missed the last bus and I need to get home. I was like, okay, I'll take you. And he said, well, here's the 20. And I said, I don't want your money. I just want to take you home. So I took him home. As it turned out, he was a piano tuner from Los Angeles, a retired piano tuner. So we had this great conversation, and this was something I would have never happened if I hadn't reached out and been kind, right? And as a teacher, I tell my students, make a difference. You have a responsibility to make a difference. Don't just sit and consume resources. Make a difference. Make somebody's life better. And of course, if you're a community leader, you know, you have a special responsibility because people are watching you, right? And you're gonna make mistakes, we all do as teachers. As a teacher, every day I went home and reviewed the day to see if I made a mistake. And if I did, I apologized. I think accountability, you have to be accountable for the mistakes you make, and you have to be accountable for the kindnesses that you give. And telling this story to other teachers, they were all like, well, Dana, that's so awesome. And I'm like, no. Everybody should do that. It shouldn't be the exception, it should be the rule. Imagine a world where everybody was that kind and that compassionate. Imagine how our society would change, how everything would change. And as a teacher, I'm constantly in the kids' faces about be kind, be compassionate, be a leader, right? And if you're a politician, we have examples here. You have a special responsibility. People are watching you, right? And that's okay, because you chose to take that responsibility, right? And so as a teacher, as an educator, and I think in terms of the whole concept of the Henderson House, because I dealt with kids, abused kids, often, unfortunately often. And we have a responsibility to educate the public, right? How to be proper parents. Family of origin is key. We have so much responsibility, and as politicians, you have a responsibility to consider legislation. Why is it you need a license to drive a car, but anybody can be a parent? Right? 50% of the pregnancies in the United States are unplanned. 50%. So there's so much we can do, to make this a better place, right? And I take it every day, being responsible. And if everybody was that way, the world would change. So anyway, that's my answer.
Thank you, Dana. Okay, our next contestant is Elise.
Hi, Elise. Oh, hello. Love your food. Okay. I actually thought of you when I picked this outfit out.
Maybe I could borrow it, yeah. Elise, are we friends?
We're friends.
If I came to you and said that I was experiencing... Hello? If I came to you and told you that I was experiencing a... How would you...
No.
We need a new mic.
If Lucetta came to me and disclosed that she was undergoing abuse, how would I respond to her? Well, I will speak a little bit from personal experience and what not to do first. So I have not faced domestic violence, but I have faced child abuse, and I also have 11 years in recovery. And both of those topics, I feel have intersection in the way that we respond. And my experience has been that there are two kinds of people. There are the people that when someone discloses something, they become very uncomfortable and they make it about themselves. And then there are people that are few and far between. I see some of them in the third row for me, that show up And sometimes the best way to show up for someone is to sit in silence. And for me, that has been the most important, is to know that I have someone that's there, that's going to listen, to understand me, not going to run to solve. And oftentimes with topics that have stigma, there's a fear to disclose for judgment or reporting. And so I would say if Lucetta came to me and disclosed she was undergoing domestic violence, I would stay quiet for a while. And I would let her talk, and I would let her share whatever she feels comfortable disclosing to me, because it is an honor to be a safe place for someone that is undergoing a very chaotic, traumatic situation. And then, obviously, you would ask that person how you would like how she would like me to help. And if she's interested in resources, or if she would like some space to think about it. And then I think the most important part is after that first conversation, my experience is that people drift away. Because it's hard. And so I would encourage all of you, if someone feels safe enough to share with you any form of abuse, or any form of addiction for that matter, mental health concerns, that you honor the space and their courage for coming to you, and that you don't run to fix, you give resources when they ask, and that you don't go away, and that you follow up with your friend to see if they're in a place, because what we call it in recovery is coming up for air. In chaotic situations, there's always this moment of clarity where you come up for air. Sometimes it's an hour. But that moment of clarity is where help is found. And I would encourage all of you to take blinders off and seek to understand your neighbor. Thank you.
Is what would I do if a friend was experiencing abuse? I would be quiet and let them talk. I think that's an incredibly intelligent, emotionally intelligent answer. And to speak on Dana's answer as well, I think that's an incredibly compassionate answer.
Our next contestant is Mauricio Soto.
Hello. Mauricio, you got some moves. I like that. What do you think our community can do better to ensure that our community is a safe place for all?
Thank you for the question. I think that the most important thing is taking care of each other. Just covering not only my community, but also my neighborhood, my family's back. If you see something, say something. Implementing education programs, based on or focused on respect and inclusiveness. That's a good way to start. And also that needs to start in our own home, with our own family, right? We need to teach our kids, how to be respectful with other people. We need to also, thank you, we need to also, if you are seeing any suspicious behavior, you need to say something. The other thing that I can say is facilitating the access to support services. Organizations like Henderson House, they need our support all the time, and we wish that there are more organizations like Henderson House. Sorry, that's crucial because they provide a lot of support when there are domestic violence or sexual abuse or any other type of abuse. And the other portion can be encourage the public agencies as well to facilitate programs to support, the community in these types of situations, like developing programs to support the community.
I think he's absolutely correct in developing resources and more organizations. I think he was completely on the money with that answer. It was, again, an incredibly thoughtful answer.
Our next contestant is Angie LaPointe.
Hey, Angie. Hi. I think that we as a society are often worst at developing policy toward problems that are hard to talk about because they involve sex or domestic violence or addiction or whatever. And I mean, Henderson House grapples with a lot of issues that are hard to talk about. I spent years covering AIDS around the world. Millions of people died unnecessarily because it was transmitted sexually, and we just had a hard time talking about that. And so, how do we go about breaking some of these taboos, breaking some of the barriers of shame that make it difficult for people to ask for help, that make it difficult to develop policies to address these problems, that make it difficult for people to offer help? How do we address these kind of barriers, the taboo, the shame, so we can actually make some more progress?
Great question. The first thing that comes to mind is we have to overcome fear, because fear can become paralyzing to us in anything we do. And in this topic of domestic violence and abuse, definitely it can paralyze everyone, whether you're the person in this abusive situation or if you're the person trying to help the person. And professionals, and getting past that fear and overcoming that and asking the hard questions and not being afraid of the response that you might get. That's a big thing. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and definitely ingrained in them to be respectful young men, and there's a lot of going through middle school, there's a lot of things that go on, and being not the one thing I would tell my sons, and I still tell them to this day, is you need to be strong enough to be standing alone and to be able to walk the path even if nobody is there. And I think that's a courage and fear to overcome something that seems maybe unsurmountable. And I think that's a big ask of people, and however it is, resources, tools, communication, money, events, having fun things and not be so serious all the time is a great way to break down some of those barriers to crush fear.
That's something I'm going to take home, is the phrase, strong enough to stand alone. I'm going to write that down. That is an incredible phrase.
Our next contestant is Jack Maxwell.
Hi, Jack.
Hi.
Thank you for your poem. That was such a gift to all of us tonight. Thank you. What do you think would make someone especially vulnerable to domestic violence? How can we mitigate those vulnerabilities in our communities?
Yeah, so I think mitigate is a big word, right? Because there's not a solution in that. There's so many levels to this. The first thing I want to say is that a lot of people see domestic violence as a female being abused in some way by a male, and there's just so much more. As you heard in my story, it was a story of a child being abused by a father, who then went into the world from a place of pain, from a place of anger, and I didn't know how to be anything different. So at that level, there's a breakdown of a cycle. My father was abused as well, and it's no excuse, but it's just the truth. And so the cycle is a big part of that. And if we can break those cycles, like luckily I did, and I can't take credit for it, a lot of it for me was taking in all the resources that our community already has. If you don't know this, our city, McMinnville specifically, has the most amazing resources. There's everything here you could ever want times 10. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we do a really good job at having those services available. The second level of this is getting somebody to the place of asking for that help, because we can't force help on anybody. And so the difficulty in that is that that breakdown exists in, say, a relationship where dependency is a huge one. They're financially dependent, they are emotionally dependent, they are locked into this thing that is just so scary to leave. And if I'm not worth it here, why would I risk going somewhere else where I'm not going to be worth it there either? At least here I have some sort of security. I'd rather get hit a little and know where I'm going to lay my head down at night than to walk out into that world, that scary world where I'm a nobody and nobody loves me and nobody cares about me, and I don't even know these people who are trying to help me. That's hard, and I remember being that person. So for me, it's stopping that cycle, and it's having our eyes open to that and seeing that and knowing that that cycle creates cycle. And then additionally, it's just about building people up, creating confidence, being available emotionally for people, because when they have that moment where they're willing to step on a stage or step to a person and say, I need help, that's the moment we need to be there for them. Because that moment is a moment, and it's a magical moment, and if we have enough people surrounding people, then we'll catch that moment and we'll get to love on them and we'll get to stop that cycle. Thank you.
Vulnerable answer, and an answer that came from such a place of truth and a place of strength and resiliency.
Our next contestant is Kate Ibora.
Okay, so this question, it says here, can you share about a time when someone went above and beyond to help you in a time of need? And I'd like you to focus a little on what impact that had on your life, and what you think people can do to think about being that type of person.
Thank you for the question. I've been rolling this around in my brain, and I don't think that it's a specific person or a specific moment even that I'm drawing from. I have always struggled with depression and ADHD and major anxiety and chronic migraines, and that's impacted me from childhood into adulthood, and at times it made me feel like I didn't have a place, and I didn't have a place in the world or with a group of friends. It just never felt like I fit until I found my community and my people. And I had one of the worst days of my life last summer. I lost my granny. And it was in that moment where I truly felt my community raise up around me. Two of my best friends, they didn't even ask, are you okay? They texted me and they said, can we get into your food truck? Because I just worked a full shift at my food truck. They said, can we get into your food truck? Can we close for you? How can we help? And feeling the security of just my people around me, that knowing that I'm okay and that I'm safe, and having them also push me to be brave and go seek therapy and get more tools that way. And it's given me the comfort and the confidence to provide that for other people and to really pour that back into my community. And in that sense of community, I mean Newburgh and Yamhill County and all of the different places that I get to serve people. So it's a huge impact. It saved my life, and I will forever be grateful for that.
who's also struggled with ADHD and depression and chronic illness, community can truly, as you said, come up around you and support you. And the more I spend time in McMinnville, the more I get to see this community. So thank you for welcoming me and showing me this community through the incredible contestants and all of you. Some of you have come up and spoken to me, and it is really incredibly heartwarming to see in the cold, harsh world that we live in, that places like this exist and people come up to their neighbors and help them, or they come up to strangers and say, "Hi, how are you?"
Let's give another round of applause to all of the contestants tonight. Everyone shared a very powerful story and an individual message. In a minute, the judges will be actually leaving to deliberate to find out who will be the first crown of Yamhill County winner for 2024. Introduce Rachel Flores of Henderson House. Rachel is the development director, and Rachel has been the driving force of putting this together. So please make sure to give her a big round of applause.
Influence the judges' outcome. So turn to the last page of your ballot, or your program, if you haven't. There's a QR code. Use your camera to scan it and jump on that link. It'll take you to your ballot, and you're welcome to place a vote. Our 10 contestants are listed. All right. So if you can do that now and not wait, because they're going to be using that result and need to have them in to take a look at that. All right. I want to say a few thank yous and then get us started on our paddle race. The Henderson House Foundation, most of which are here tonight, would you stand? Henderson House Foundation members. We've got a couple of and these women do a lot to support our work, and not only were they sponsors tonight, which we can thank them for, they've also pledged $3,000 to match our paddle raise. So thank you. I want to thank Willamette Valley Medical Center for also sponsoring us. Kin Technology was another sponsor. Thank you. And Bliss Sequoia Insurance and Risk Advisors. Thank you. All right. I'm going to get us started on the paddle race in just a second, but first I want to share with you a quote and a tiny bit more about Henderson House, and then we'll wrap this up. All right? We'll have a coronation. We're waiting for that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, a quote I love by Mahatma Gandhi is, "The measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members." So in McMinnville, or let's say Yamhill County, we're in McMinnville now, but this event is for all of Yamhill County, because Henderson House serves our whole county, and we have many people from across the county tonight. So Yamhill County has a good idea of how to take care of the most vulnerable people in our society. They support our work, and like Jack said, there's many organizations in our county that are doing good work. Henderson House has prevention going on in our high schools. I want to give a shout out to Juliet's house, who's also doing a lot of prevention work in our All right. So who here thinks that domestic violence is not okay? All right, where are your better numbers? You need to raise those up next, okay? So we at Henderson House have been serving Yamhill County for over 40 years, and we provide emergency shelter. We have a team of 100% confidential advocates that can walk people through what it means to leave a dangerous situation. So we help with safety planning. We can provide you with burner phone. We do protection order filings with our clients. So come at 9 a.m. if you need to do that. It has to be filed by 11 a.m. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But we also operate a 24-hour crisis line. That's operated by our advocates. So when anyone has the courage and the ability to make that call, someone locally who understands what's available to our clients will be able to answer that call anytime, day or night, and walk them through what their options are. And we are here to empower people, to give them choices, not to tell them what to do, because in DV relationships, it's characterized by not having any agency. So we're giving people choices and giving them the tools and resources they need to leave dangerous situations and reestablish their lives free of violence.
Let's go.
That was great. Thank you very much. So we do have the judges' results. If all the contestants can please come out on stage.
Are we writing these results, or is somebody else?
Second runner-up.
Okay. The second runner-up, we don't know the results, so the second runner-up is?
Okay. Maxwell the third.
Can we have a drum roll, please? For the winner of the first Crown of Yamhill County 2024, the winner is?
The lovely Elise.
This is for all the women.
Everyone, please give these contestants another round of applause. Which was missed earlier. I want to thank McMinnville Community Media. They recorded this in the corner. Kyle, and I think Phil is there too. So we want to thank you very much. We all thank you for coming out. This was a great event. This is the first time this has been done. We had a few hiccups, but everyone hung with us, and I myself appreciate that, and I know everyone in Henderson House does too. So thank you very much.